Good afternoon and welcome to PHCC's virtual program showcase, where today we are going to be featuring our EMS Paramedic program. Students joining in live, if you will please type in your name and your high school in the chat box. We ask that you keep yourself muted until the end of the call. If you have any questions, you can also put those in the chat feature and we will do a Q&A session at the end of the call. Today's call is hosted by the PHCC Career Coaches, representing all high schools in Henry County, Martinsville, and Patrick County. Our job is to help you make informed decisions about your career goals and help you have a successful transition into your post-secondary education and training. Typically, we host on-campus field trips, and we really miss having you all with us in person this year, but we're happy to offer these sessions and virtual tools until we can be together again. Quickly, us coaches are going to introduce ourselves for those of you who may not know us. My name is Alyssa Rohr, and I serve as the Magna Vista Career Coach. When we are at the school face-to-face, my office is in the front of the building in the guidance office area. When we are not at school in person, you can find me at my PH office in the Philpott building.
Hello, my name is Sharika Williams. I am the career coach at Bassett High School. When I'm at Bassett, I am located on the small math hallway across from Miss Craig and Miss Yeaman. When I'm not there, I am also in Philpott Hall.
Hi, I'm Christy Lester. I'm the career coach for Martinsville High School. When we're at the high school, I'm in the guidance department, and otherwise I'm at Patrick Henry in the Philpott building, and email is the best way to reach us right now.
Hello, I'm Diane Hughes, and I have an office at our DeHart Park campus in Stuart. I can meet with students by appointment there. Just email me to set up an appointment. I'm at Patrick County High School on Tuesdays and Thursdays right now, and my office is located next to the cafeteria.
All right, thank you all. We are going to put our information back up at the end of the call, but right now we are going to turn things over to Ashley Dye, our EMS program director, and she's going to share some information about the program with you all.
Hi, people out in Zoom land or recorded Zoom land. I much rather would have you here on campus so I could show you all the fun toys and pretty much jump around like a monkey, because that's usually what I do when students are on campus. We'd have a lot of fun, but that's okay. You can come here and have fun too. So my name is Ashley. Soon to be Smallwood. It won't be Di anymore. I'm getting used to the whole getting married thing. So I'm the program director for the EMS programs here at Patrick Henry. If you're not sure what EMS is, stands for Emergency Medical Services. So the things that we teach our students, or the certification levels that we teach here, are emergency medical technician, which is the entry point. That's what I'm going to be talking to you about today mostly. Advanced EMT, which would be the next step up, and then the grand poobah of them all, which I am as well, is a paramedic. And that paramedic certification is nationally registered, as well as all the other certifications. And what that means is that you don't have to stay here in Virginia to work. If you want to go to Hawaii, you can take, which that sounds like a great day to me. I can go to Hawaii with my certification and work, and I don't have to do anything extra. I don't have to take any extra exams or do anything special. So it lets you be pretty mobile, and it also lets you have lots of job opportunities. So a little bit about me. I started in EMS when I was 17, and I'm not going to tell you how long ago that was, but it was in another decade, very many decades ago. And I got into it kind of by accident. I was actually looking for a manual to tell me more about state troopers, because I was sweet on somebody who wanted to be a state trooper, and there was a little manual for how to be an EMT right beside it. And I said, I don't know what that is. Let me pull it down and look at it. I went, oh, this looks interesting. So that's how it all started. And no, the guy did not ever work out. No, never try to be smarter than the guy. It probably doesn't work out that great. But that's how I got started, and eventually bounced my way up through the different certification levels. A few of them don't even exist anymore because it's been that long ago, up to paramedic level. I also got my nursing license along the way, and a few degrees. And I've been here at Patrick Henry for a little over 10 years in a couple of different jobs. But my latest and longest one so far has been program director. So one thing is interesting about EMS, and I'm going to see if I can share screens with you. Hold on just a moment. Let me see if I can pull it up. There we go. Y'all give me thumbs up if you can see that. Can you see it? Yeah, okay, cool. I worked really hard on this. I hope you can see it. But I call this a zero to hero, and that's not saying that y'all are zeros, but what you'll learn in EMS land or EMS language is often it's referred to as going from zero to hero, meaning you don't have any certifications whatsoever. And now you're going to learn some additional skills and obtain some additional certifications that will put you on the path to even going all the way to paramedic. But what I'm going to talk to you today about is becoming an emergency medical technician. Again, that is the first step. So we always want to go in order. Emergency medical technician in the state of Virginia is the first step out into EMS land. And what we do is, again, we take care of the sick and injured in emergency medical settings. I often tell students many times people call 911 for things that aren't emergencies, but it's emergencies to them. So we're there to take care of them. Definitely lives depend on what we do. I've saved lives before. I've helped a lot more lives than I've probably saved. But definitely there's a need for people to go out there and work in the community, work outside a hospital, and in kind of a more unpredictable setting, particularly these days, with COVID and all the changes that have come with it. So definitely it depends on our quick reaction and the competent care. And again, as I said, the first step in Virginia is to become an EMT. So we have that capability to do that here, to help you certify at the EMT level. But a little bit more about what do EMTs do. Remember, we respond to 911 calls. We do things as little as bandaging boo-boos, to doing CPR, delivering babies. I mean, there's all kinds of really gross stuff we could go into, but your career coaches might just throw up. So I won't talk about that. You can call me and I'll tell you about the gross stuff. So we do that. We figure out what's wrong. We figure out how to treat it. Involves a lot of assessment and a lot of critical thinking. And then ultimately we get you where you need to go. A lot of people ask me, do I drive the ambulance? And I can. They probably don't want me to. That's why they put me in the back. But we do guide you on that path to getting that certification as well to be able to drive the ambulance. But one of the other things we teach you how to do, and EMTs do, is to figure out which way the patient should get to the hospital. So, ambulance isn't the only way. We can put people in helicopters and fixed wing aircraft, and, maybe one day there'll be a drone. Not sure. Hopefully I'm gone before that happens. So maybe being in high school, you're not really worried about getting a job. Maybe you are. I think you probably should be, because job means money. Money means things you can buy. In terms of job growth just in this area, and remember, you can go wherever you want with this certification. By 2024, which we're coming up to quickly, the job growth is expected to jump by 20%. So you're definitely always going to have a job in this region if you want it, and certainly in lots of other regions as well. Well, I like to know how much people are paid. And personally, I think you should be paid more. But again, they don't ask me these things. They just let me do what I do. But the average starting out pay is between 12 to 15 an hour. It really is based on where you work. For example, if you work more in Northern Virginia, you get paid more, whereas more Southwest Virginia is paid a little bit less. It's also based on experience too. Don't expect to come out of the gate making what somebody like me who's been doing this for a couple of decades would make when you're just starting out. But that's a pretty reasonable salary, and usually a pretty good schedule as well. And again, reasons why you should keep going. So again, plug for Patrick Henry. We can do that here too. Getting your advanced certification or getting your paramedic certification is you get paid more. So we'll see what happens if the whole $15 an hour comes down the pike. Personally, I think what will happen is it will push the pay up in all of these other pay areas. But anyway, that's for other people to decide. So if you're interested in becoming an EMT, what are some things that you need to be thinking about doing? Well, first of all, we offer that credential here. That credential is part of a CSC, which stands for Career Services Credential, and we can give you that entire credential in 24 credits. So it's 12 credits in the fall and 12 credits in the spring, with the actual EMT class, so the actual certification course being conducted in the spring. So right now I have 10 very eager EMT students right now. So we will start that process with you, hopefully, for starting in the fall. So the biggest step you would want to do other than graduating high school is, you want to apply to Patrick Henry. You might want to wait till you graduate to do that. Might be a little extra paperwork. And then choose the EMT curriculum. When it asks you what do you want to study, you just simply scroll down on your application, and it's under health sciences or health technology. EMS is where that is located. The next step, of course, you want money. A lot of you guys might be eligible for seed. I know that's a big push here with many of the students. I think that's fabulous. I wish I'd have had that when I was much younger to get money for college. You want to get your FAFSA done. That requires a lot of just persnickety work. It's not hard work. It's just detail oriented because, the government looks to give you money, so they want to make sure that they're giving it to the right person. So you need to get that done, get all those financial aid applications done. And by the way, there's a lot of scholarships available at PH too, and a lot of my students get scholarships as well. Make an appointment with me. That's third step. So look, I even changed my name on here. It'll be my new name. I got my social security card today, so I can actually change it today. But make an appointment with me. We can either do it by phone, we can do it in person, we can do it by Zoom. I haven't mastered smoke signals yet, but I probably could. But make an appointment with me. One thing we're going to look at is your high school transcripts. I want to make sure at least you're on board with English and math. Not really hugely technical there. We just want to make sure you've had it in school. And I'm going to be asking you some questions about why you want to be an EMT, and here's some things we might be looking at in the future. Do you think you'd be able to lift a certain amount of weight? Do you think you'd be able to crawl and move on uneven terrain? So basically, so I can just kind of understand where you're coming from and how I can help you out as an advisor, plus maybe make your journey just a little bit easier. And then the last step would be start your classes. So again, the way we've built this CSE, their certificate model, is that the classes you take in the fall, they're not EMT yet. We're going to get you wet first. You're going to take some English, some anatomy, of course, your college survival skills. And I've got a actual cheat sheet on what you actually take, which I'll share with your career coaches in just a second. And then in the spring is when you'll actually take the EMT course. The EMT course is comprised of actually two classes, EMS 111, which is the actual class, and that's 7 credits. And then EMS 120, which is the clinical opportunity. So one thing you go do, which my students will start here in the next month or so, is they're going to be out in the field on ambulances. So we'll place you on ambulances around this area. We currently use Martinsville City, Henry County, Franklin County, and Danville Area Training Center for field opportunities. And you're going to have some things you have to accomplish, certain number of patients to see, certain number of skills to do, plus see if you actually like it. Some people are all gung-ho about EMT, and then they realize they get terribly car sick in the back of an ambulance, or they just really don't like sticky people, or they don't like people who smell, or whatever the case may be. So it's important that you better complete that last opportunity. After you're actually done with the class, then you will actually sit for your national exam. Currently, we are on hold with one portion of those exams. Historically, there's always been a practical part of the exam as well as a cognitive, so part you take on the computer. And because of COVID, they've actually canceled all of the practicals through the end of June. So currently, my students right now are going to take the easiest test sort of their life because they just have to take the written exam to become EMTs. That may or may not be the case when you take it. We'll see what happens. But historically, students sit for a practical portion, which involves 3 separate skills. You do a medical station, a trauma station, and then a random skill. And again, by the time you get to this, it's old hat for you because you've done it so many times in my class. And then you take a cognitive exam. That exam is done on computer. It's not given here at Patrick Henry. You can actually sign up to take it at Pearson VUE testing sites. You may be familiar with that through school. I think there's one in Danville. I know there's one big one in Roanoke. They scan your fingerprints and take pictures of you and you show your ID because it is a nationally based exam. And then after that, if you pass those exams, you're then certified as not only a national EMT, but also a Virginia EMT, and you get what I call your little blue card because the card color for Virginia is blue, and then that's the card you're going to be very proud to carry the rest of your life. And like I said, you go anywhere you want with that certification. If you want to stay here, we'd love to have you stay here. And if you want to go to Hawaii, God bless you. Send me a postcard. Let me know how it is. Bring me some sand. So it's amazing the job opportunities that are out there for medical folks. In terms of where you can go after EMT, again, we do advanced EMT, which is kind of a step up. You can earn that certification here. We teach that every spring as well. And in that certification, you would learn some advanced skills like starting IVs, putting airways in people, giving some medications. And then we have a paramedic program as well that's a degree. So it's an associate's degree program. And we take applications for that every March. We close the application period down towards the end of April. And you can apply to start the paramedic program in the fall. And it is certainly okay if you have not tested your EMT yet to go ahead and apply for the paramedic program, because we actually have a little spot that you can actually mark, you know, I haven't tested my EMT yet, but I'm going to, and I intend on having certification before I start the paramedic program. That program is 2 years long, so no summers unless there's something specific you want to take. Again, you come out with an associate's degree as well as the ability to sit for the national exam for paramedic. Paramedics get paid more. They also have a wider scope of practice and more things that they can do and get involved with. And from there, you can go work anywhere. Where do EMTs and paramedics work? Lots of places. Obviously, the first thing we usually think of is fire departments and, rescue squads and transport companies. EMTs are also hired at plasma donation centers because you have that medical knowledge. So that's where people go donate plasma or donate blood. They're hired at dialysis centers. My brother actually was an EMT many moons ago, and that's how he got his very good job right now of a dialysis technician. And he travels all over Virginia for Fresenius doing their technician work and gets paid pretty good money for that. You can work in tissue banks. You can actually go out and do organ harvesting. I know that sounds really gross and probably grossing out some of your career coaches right now, but they actually hire EMTs and paramedics because, again, you have that medical knowledge. So, I mean, there's just tons of ways that you can use that certification, not only to get a good job, but also explore and see what's out there. That's kind of how part of the reason I became a nurse. It wasn't because I always wanted to be one. It just kind of happened. I fell into it, and I literally did fall into it. And that's, obviously led to a great career there as well as a great career in education, that started a decade ago. So there's just plenty of places you can go with it. And certainly in terms of job security, all you have to do is just open any paper, open any Google, and take a look at the medical jobs that are being listed. There are just so many. Why are there so many? Well, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but we get old and we get sick. And then there's this pandemic thing that's happening. I don't know. But medical jobs are just always there, and they're in high demand. My grandfather used to say that if you worked in the funeral home business or the restaurant business or the healthcare business, you were never going to lack for a job. And that's true because he was a funeral home director. He never lacked for a job because people have to have healthcare, they have to have food, and they have to have a way to take care of the dead. So you'll certainly have a place to go always. I'm going to see if I can pull up real quick my little cheat sheet here. Whoops, maybe not. There we go. There we go. All right. So, again, big thumbs up for career coaches. You can see my little cheat sheet. You see it? No? Oh, whoops, hold on. New share. Here we go. Takes me a second. I'm kind of old. Getting older as we go. So this isn't anything really fancy. There's probably something very similar out there, probably that I already created and then I lost and I thought I had to do it again, so I did it again. This is I call it a cheat sheet for what is required for the CSE for the certificate. You can see, of course, the first things we want to put you in the fall is CPR, college success skills, your English class, human anatomy, the first part of it, and developmental psych. That brings you up to a full 12 credits, with the spring being kind of light in a way, except it's still a lot of credits. Your EMS classes, which is the entire EMT course, and then your last half of the bio. The bio is very helpful because first of all, it teaches you most of the bio stuff that you need to know for EMT, but also all these classes that I'm showing you that are here are the same classes that are required for the paramedic degree as well. So you can actually get a really big jump up if eventually you want to land on the paramedic side. By going ahead and doing these, you'll actually already have a bunch of stuff done for paramedic other than the EMS stuff. If by chance you already have CPR for some reason, maybe you're a CNA somewhere, you work as a med tech, I don't know what might be out there in the high school level, but if you already have CPR for the healthcare providers, go ahead and get me a copy of that and I can do an advanced placement credit for you, no problem. I include some of the extra financial requirements, because we are dealing in healthcare. There's a couple extra things that have to happen. Drug screening, sorry, it's a thing. Criminal background check. The physical exam, what that's talking about is just simply your doctor literally saying it's okay for you to come take this class, because this is rather physical. We do have uniforms. We use uniforms there at for the field site. And then we use a couple of products to help chart our skills. That's Platinum Planner, and EMS testing helps get you ready for the final push into taking your National Registry exam. And then I just included some physical requirements. Again, this is nothing new. This is straight off of our website. It's already there. But sometimes this becomes an issue for people. If they can't lift or balance, being able to read and write, being able to stoop, balance, crawl. Those things are really important. And if you can't do those, then according to the state of Virginia and the National Registries, you can't really go take your test because you need to be able to do them. I always say there's always the but to everything. I'm not going to make someone who broke their foot go crawl outside. We'll deal with anything that happens throughout the semester as we need to. I actually just had a student have to, work on some different lifting techniques because she's pregnant. So, we work with different things that has to happen. So this is just kind of a rundown of some of the basics that's out there for EMT. So that's really all I have, y'all. Let me downsize all this other stuff that's there. Let me make it bigger. So what questions are out there for me from either the career coaches or students or whomever's listening? Come on, Christy, I see you unmuting there. I know you have a question.
I'm still unmuted. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
What are the characteristics of your students who are the most successful? Like, what's the type of person that tends to do really well in the paramedic programs?
Both EMT and paramedic. I would say people who aren't afraid to try new things. That would be number one. People who are a little bit interested in science. You don't have to be like a science nerd or anything, but definitely people who are a little bit interested in it. And then people who realize that literally every day you're going to have something completely new, to you. And of course, you need to be a little studious. You need to be able to study, do your homework and do your skills and things like that. But I'll say for the most part, people are just willing to try something. And those usually end up being the most successful because I've seen a lot of students over the years, and the majority of the time they do better if they're just willing to just try it and see what's out there. So I would say that's probably the biggest characteristics I would look at. Good question. Excellent question.
I knew you would. I knew you answered all of our other questions. Length of the program, check.
I've been asked it a few times.
Good.
Hey, well, this way they can see me without a mask.
Exactly.
I can put it on just so you actually know what I look like without it. There you go.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to share with us. We are available, guys. We're your career coaches. Here's our information again for you students. You can screenshot that, write down our information. We are here. If you have any questions about EMS or paramedic, we can get you in touch with Ashley and make sure that everything you need to know is answered. We have a checklist for seniors, so reach out to your high school career coaches to know what next steps you need to take. We can help you navigate the seed fund, scholarships, your financial aid application, step-by-step guidance on how to do the PH app. We're available and ready to help you. So any questions that you may have, please reach out to us and we will get you in touch with Ashley if you have specific questions about EMS and the paramedic program, okay? This session will be recorded and available for access afterwards. Thank you all for your information and time today. We hope that you have a good evening. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.